There's a country where you can legally rent the entire nation for your wedding. There's another one that doesn't technically exist on most maps, but has its own currency, passports, and royal family. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you won't believe some of these places are actually real. From a kingdom ruled by happiness instead of money, to a tiny island nation that makes millions off a website domain, these are the 10 strangest countries on Earth. Let's start the countdown with number 10. Liechtenstein is one of only 2 countries in the world that's doubly landlocked, meaning it's surrounded entirely by other landlocked countries, Switzerland and Austria. It's so small, you could walk across the whole country in about a day. Here's the wild part, Liechtenstein doesn't have an army. It got rid of it back in 1868 because it was too expensive to maintain. And today, you can actually rent the entire country for private events like weddings. Imagine booking an entire sovereign nation the way you'd book a venue. That's Liechtenstein. If you thought that was strange, wait until you see number 9. Nauru is the 3rd smallest country on the planet, and it doesn't even have an official capital city. In the 1980s, Nauru was one of the richest countries in the world per person, thanks to massive phosphate mining. But the resources ran out. And today, much of its economy depends on hosting an offshore processing center for Australia. A nation that went from extreme wealth to financial struggle in just a few decades, all because of how it used one resource. Speaking of tiny, number 8 is the smallest country on Earth. Vatican City is the smallest sovereign nation in the entire world, smaller than most golf courses, at under half a square kilometer. Despite its size, it has its own army, the Swiss Guard, its own postal service, its own radio station, and roughly 800 citizens, most of whom hold the position rather than being born there. A country smaller than a city park still functions with its own government, military, and global influence. Number 7 might be even older than you'd guess. San Marino claims to be one of the oldest republics still in existence, tracing its founding all the way back to the year 301 AD. It's completely surrounded by Italy, and has nearly as many registered vehicles as it does residents. A nation that's outlasted empires, wars, and centuries of change, while staying tucked inside another country the entire time. Number 6 doesn't measure success in money, it measures it in happiness. Bhutan is the only country that officially tracks gross national happiness instead of just economic growth. It's also considered carbon negative, meaning it absorbs more carbon dioxide than it produces, thanks to its massive forests. And tourists are required to pay a daily fee just to visit. A country that prioritizes well-being and environment over profit, in a world where most nations chase the opposite. Number 5 changed its entire name just a few years ago, and most people didn't notice. In 2018, the country known as Swaziland officially changed its name to Eswatini, and many people around the world still don't know. Eswatini remains one of the last absolute monarchies on Earth, where the king holds near total authority over the country's laws and government. A modern nation operating under a centuries-old system of rule, while most of the world has shifted toward democracy. Number 4 exists in all 4 hemispheres at once, something almost no other country can claim. Kiribati is made up of 33 scattered islands, and it's the only country on Earth that sits in all 4 hemispheres, north, south, east, and west. In 1995, Kiribati actually moved the international date line so all of its islands would share the same date, making it the very first place on Earth to welcome each new year. A nation that redrew the map of time itself just to stay united. Number 3 makes millions of dollars from a website ending. Tuvalu is one of the smallest countries on Earth by population, but it owns something incredibly valuable, the .tv internet domain. Streaming platforms and TV-related websites pay Tuvalu millions of dollars every year just to use that domain ending. And because rising sea levels threaten to submerge the islands, Tuvalu has even begun digitally preserving itself as a backup in the metaverse. A tiny nation funding its future with internet real estate, while racing to save its identity from climate change. Number 2 is so wealthy, its royal palace is the largest residence on the planet. Brunei is a small, oil-rich nation on the island of Borneo, and its royal residence, Istana Nurul Iman, is the largest residential palace on Earth, with nearly 1,800 rooms. Thanks to its oil wealth, citizens of Brunei pay no income tax and enjoy free healthcare and education for life. A nation where one resource transformed an entire population's quality of life and built the biggest house on the planet. And now, the #1 spot. A country that most governments don't even officially recognize, but it has its own currency, passports, and royal family. Off the coast of England sits an abandoned World War II sea fort. In 1967, a man named Paddy Roy Bates moved onto it and declared it an independent nation, the Principality of Sealand. Sealand has its own flag, currency, passports, and even a royal family. You can buy a lord or lady title from its website today. The catch? Almost no country in the world officially recognizes it as a real nation. It's the ultimate you won't believe this exists story, a self-declared kingdom standing on rusted metal legs in the middle of the sea, that survived for over 50 years. From a kingdom built on the ocean, to a country renting itself out for weddings, the world is stranger than most people realize. Which one of these surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit subscribe.